despite the opinion of others. I call on the Prime Minister to open this debate.
Good evening, Madam Speaker, members of the House. So, on opening tonight on this motion, I would like to make the following statement, that we as people live in a society where prejudice is law and acceptance is key. And this tonight and this evening in this debate, we are going to analyse and we are going to tell you why it is important to be accepted socially rather than to be yourself. Now, to prove this to you tonight, we are going to make two large points. My first point I'd like to start being is the first. In the 21st era that we find ourselves in today, everything is digitalized. Your digital life that you live, your social media life, is so intimately connected with your normal life that they almost can't be separated. Now, the problem that we have with that is, everyone can see who you are in this sphere on both sides, on the social media. Anybody from anywhere can go in and they can see you, which also leaves you open to discrimination and public scrutiny, say if you do something that isn't part of society or that doesn't conform to society as a whole. So the statement that we would like to make at this point is, we would rather tell children from the beginning to conform to what society wants them to be and cut the losses at the end of the day in this forming phase, rather than to let these children develop themselves and be who they want to be at the end of the day and be discriminated against this because they're strange, because they don't fit in entirely. So we would rather, in this digital media we find ourselves in, where that which you do is public and lasting, we'd rather that which you expose yourself to be part of what society wants, be part of that which the whole is, rather than be your unique self, that which you strive to be. So we would actually like these people from the very beginning to raise their children in what society wants them to be. Our second point that we're going to make this evening is, why is it so much more important to be accepted rather than to be yourself? Now, I explained to you how our social lives and our digital lives are so tightly intertwined together that they almost can't be separated. So, the big thing is, we as people are social beings. We want to form part of something bigger than ourselves. And be able to do this artificial mobile that we are creating tonight, we would rather from the very beginning get on the bandwagon and form part of this big group that we strive to be, rather than to do your own thing, be special, but also at the end of the day, don't fit in entirely. So, we would rather advocate that you fake it till you become it, than until you are that person at the end of the day. And that, at the end of the day, that will be who you are. And you won't have to look back and say, who was I actually being starting with? So, that's what we would like to work like, this artificial insemination from a very young age, so that you can become what society wants you to be at the end of the day. I accept.
What happens when the norm actually becomes that you elevate people that's just different?
The big thing at the end of the day is that will still be despite the opinions of other people. So we would rather want, if that becomes the new norm, then it will be, then at the other side it will suddenly be not to be special, that will be to conform to that. So if it conforms to that, that's the new trend. We follow that. From a young age we tell our children, that's how you do it and that's the way to get there. So we would rather, despite the opinions of others, we would like the opinions of others to be the rule at the end of the day. So, to go on at this thing, there is open discrimination in the world we live on today. As I said, opening, that we live in a society of prejudice, where people are very critical against other people. So, that which you do on social media, that has become a way of expressing myself. If I have a bad day in real life, in this digital life I would like to express myself. I expose myself to this open and public scrutiny that will be at the end of the day. And this is public and this is lasting. But if I conform and am accepted by the bigger part of society, then it won't be a problem for me. Because that which I do on there isn't strange, and isn't seen as strange and different. So we would rather advocate that you fake it till you become it, than until you are that person at the end of the day. And so, weight up is unhappiness and being myself versus being happy and not myself. Because indirectly conforming to what society wants, having friends, being part of a social status and atmosphere, I will be happy at the end of the day. And that's much more important for us to be happy in that way, in the artificial world, rather than to be unhappy, being myself, living my dreams. I accept.
How do you have meaningful social interactions where what you're known as is something that's not who you really are?
That's the big thing. Doesn't matter, because everybody in this thing, even if they are or they are not, this is going to be meaningful interactions, because we are all the same here. We are the people with the same ideals. We see society as the same. We have the same perspective and the same feeling about things, because all from a young age have conformed to this ideal that we strive to. So the problem that we are facing today is people aren't accepted when it leads them to be socially strange at the end of the day. And the solution that we would like to offer is from a young age, conform rather to be themselves to what society sees as ideal. And that is what we are advocating for tonight. If I would like to go on in that, like I said, the importance of not from young age doing that which is different and being seen as special, not to follow your own ideals and dreams at the cost of giving up your happiness to be this person and die at the end of the day and look back and see, you know what, I lived a full life, but I'm going to die alone in my deathbed. Rather than look at a life that I lived with other people and have people being at my deathbed at the end of the day. So we'd rather have this being that is fake but is happy than to have this being that is unhappy but he is himself. He lived life, that person which he was born to be, he pursued that, rather than to pursue the other side that we are advocating for, to be in this fake atmosphere, to be someone who you are not, but you are going to be happy at the end of the day. So, we came today, we gave you a problem, and we gave you a solution to how we're going to approach this problem. So I would like to repeat at the end. We live in a society where prejudice is law and acceptance is key. And that is why we are advocating to be rather the person who is widely accepted and is not frowned upon by being themselves, but by being what other people want them to be, where other people feel safe, where other people feel part of themselves, part of the bigger picture. Thank you so much.